Hello, Internet. This is my last cigarette. I know everybody says something of this nature before they go and fold again, but I'm putting this out there as accountability to myself, and also because before I even lit this, I was like, I don't need this and I don't want it. I got it from a stranger. I bummed it off with somebody. I haven't bought my own shit in so long. Y'all can call me a mooch, whatever. That's me. That's my own guilt about the fact that I knew I shouldn't have been smoking this the whole time I was smoking it. It comes out in words and expressions like that. But yeah, this is my last cigarette, and just want to let the camera run, see what I have to say. I'm trying something new. I'm not trying to think of anything to say for the video. Just pretending if this camera wasn't even here. Just letting my mind run. As soon as I started recording, it's like the backdrop of my mind changed. Immediately, I felt more tightness in my stomach. And I think these are, just social programs we all have. They're self-protective mechanisms, and they come from feelings or trying to avoid feelings of public embarrassment. Shame, I guess, trying to avoid that shame. And it's like my mind was running a lot clearer before. And then as soon as I press play, it's like my mind was either looking for things to say or it was not saying. It was it just felt like more static in there. And I'm using this video as an example, but I feel like a lot of us, when we're by ourselves or with our friends, we say the vulnerable thing. And that's the rawest thing, and that's the realest thing we say. And then when it's time to express it to others or put it out there on social media, over iterations, it becomes more and more filtered, more and more refined. But to me, I don't know. There's a difference between refinement and, iterated filtering. A lot of times, refinement can feel like retrofitting. I don't even know what that means, but it just came to me and it made sense. It's kind of like that concept of your brain replays memories, and over time, as it replays it, the memories become more and more disconnected from the actual way things happened originally. Which is interesting because I believe that memories live as feelings in the body, and then those feelings create the images, create the callbacks. We remember the feelings. And as time goes on, as we experience different things, obviously we have new feelings, but the feelings we hold on to, the way we perceive them in our mind is, let's say you had a really beautiful moment as a child. I don't know, you saw the sunset on a boat while with your family on a calm lake or something. That's a pretty beautiful memory. I haven't had that memory. I had that on a cruise when I was 18, not as a child. just put out my last cigarette. Yeah, I had that on a cruise, for example. But the value of the memory will change over time. Our relationship with the feeling of that memory will change over time. Like, let's say I'm going on cruises like every week. I'm going on those sunset boat rides every week. It will feel, my lived experience will feel more similar to that. So I will hold, not to say I wouldn't value it, but I would hold less value to it than to say if that was me as a child and now I'm like working as a janitor at a diarrhea clinic or something. I don't know what a diarrhea clinic is, but the worse your life gets, the more you hang on to that memory. The better your life gets, the more that memory will just feel like a normal part of your life. But they're all feelings that live inside of us. So it's like we can access that feeling anytime without the mental replaying of it. And then from that feeling, we can ground it in the present and be like, how can I lead myself to moments that create this feeling again? How can I think, act, speak in ways that make this feeling the norm? Because we all just want to be happy, right? We all just want peace. Like, at the end of the day, all everyone does is, at the root of it, is that. And there's no peace without love. There's no happiness without love. I don't care what anybody says. Anything to contradict that is a cope, in my opinion. Be like, oh, I don't feel love, but I got all this money. Oh, I don't feel love, but I got all these hoes. I don't feel love, but I got all these clothes. It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. All that shit is, your mind has to like put that up as it has to stack all of these things on a balance beam and weigh it against love and be like, okay, I don't have love, but I have this. If you don't have love, you have nothing. But that's the paradox. Everybody has love within us. I mean, we're literally created from love. Even if you're like a wedlock baby, or like daddy was cheating on his girlfriend with your mama. Still love, bro. Now, I mean, and then this gets to like, what is love really? To me, love is just like unconditional acceptance. You know, unconditional presence. To me, love is all around us. And like what we're made of. It's connection. If you really think about it, we're made up of so many tiny particles. And it feels like my finger is separate from the air, but we don't have the ability to perceive the air molecules, if that makes sense. Human beings can own the visual spectrum as perceived by humans is only like 1% or something of what's actually there in the universe. If we had the eyesight to perceive everything we can't, we would see that like there's probably so much shit touching my finger, and like the air is touching my finger, and then it's like, what's even touch? You know, like touch is a sensed experience that we have that's processed through the brain. The sensation is processed through the brain, and the brain tells us, oh, you're feeling this object. And it's like, and that comes through as a sensation or a thought, but the sensation is like, you can feel it where it is in your body, but you can't feel where the computation, well, you can feel the electricity moving in your brain, but like when you have a thought, like, yeah, the mind produces thoughts, but is a thought in your mind? Like, no, like it's nowhere. You know, like you just kind of experience it. Same with images. Like, you know, your mind is capable and responsible for creating this, but like it's almost like there's a whole another like plane of existence beyond the physical, and that's where like the psyche lives. You know, like the brain is like a connector to that. And going back to love, I feel like there's like one big psychic field. Psychic meaning just mental, not like, ooh, I'm implanting energies into your mind. I could be, like, if you're resonating with what I'm saying. Yeah, I feel like, you know, whenever you step into the room, every room has its own vibe. Every stadium has its own energy. Every concert has the wave of the crowd, you know, like, and that's what I mean. Love is all around us, bro. But we have this survival mechanism that's called fear, and fear is what keeps us from dying, and it can manifest in the form of feelings, and then those feelings of fear is what, you know, we used to listen to run away from predators, to sniff out enemies. But in the modern world, that fear creates identities and, you know, tribal structures and all these unnecessary blocks in between people. Just because that's what fear does, you know. It's around unfamiliarity. It creates familiarity in the mind through a consistent narrative that you call you. And when someone is disconnected from love, from their heart, from the people around them, from what they enjoy doing, fear takes over. I believe the powers that be the largest holders of capital, the leaders at the top of our institutions, Big Don, Big Jeff, rest in peace. They're the most controlled by fear. And, you know, if you want to tie it into like religious stuff, like the devil comes in when a person is scared and offers them everything they could desire in a worldly sense, so they can be free from whatever they think they need to be free from. Really, all you need to be free from is fear. It's simple. It ain't easy. You got like 150 million years of evolution that your mental capacity is up against, if you choose to view it that way. If you choose to start unlearning your response to the feeling of fear. And going back to, I started this video talking about my last cigarette. What was I coping for? What was I afraid of? My own feelings. certain negative scenarios that I've gone through with people, how that left the mark on me, how it left the mark on my thinking, how my resistance to feeling those feelings, which is, fear, created many other ways of thinking that were based in fear and not love. Which is why I'm able to have this conversation. When something is based in fear, it can all come crashing down at any second. Love is steady. Everyone can relate to either the warm feeling of a nurturing mother, or the yearning for that feeling. I feel like there's plenty of people who haven't experienced that still know how to yearn for that feeling, because something in all of us remembers that feeling, that warm nurture and love. Some people never experience it from a person, which is what disconnects them from it. Like, some people never get that as a child. And I believe that feeling we're remembering is like, God or the universe or whatever you want to call it. Spirit, source. Everyone, no one's denying its existence. Everyone points to it in different ways. All religions have a different way of getting there. Different practices of sustaining that feeling, or the connection to that feeling. That feeling is always just here, though. It's here and now in the present moment. You can always access it. We just deep breath. And if you have a lot of things you're resisting at this moment, it will feel like that fear will pop back up. That's why I feel like a lot of people with anxiety, and I can relate to this myself, when they start taking deep breaths, the chest tightness actually starts feeling worse. But it's because, like, when you focus on the breath, the thoughts created by that tightness, they dissipate, and then you're left to focus on the feeling. And I feel like that's why after I said that, I don't know, but I just started feeling a bunch of things. Yeah, fear is a response we have to negative feelings, because negative feelings of pain, sensations of pain, reminds the body associates those with death. That's where fear comes. It tries to protect us from those. If you live in the Western world, there's not really any predators chasing you around. If you live in a area where you're not liable to get shot the moment you walk outside, then there's really nothing that fear is doing for you at all. It can serve us up to a point of. It can serve us by telling us what we're afraid of. I feel like that's the only purpose fear has in the 21st century. We feel the fear, and it points us to something we're afraid of, and then that gives us the opportunity to question why we're afraid of it in the first place. And from that, there's always self-discovery. From that, when you take a deep breath, when you ask that question, you relax into the moment, you always find out something about yourself, something you were holding for a long time, something you were resisting, some feelings you were avoiding feeling. A truck is passing by. Baggage, cargo that you've been holding on to. And it's just so much better to just face it in the moment than cope, Because the more you cope, the more you listen to that fear, the more the fear builds up the wall. And then the higher the wall goes, the harder it is to tear it down. And it will tear down. It will come crashing down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if everybody in your life is affirming the stories that fear is telling you. You could go your entire life, be on your deathbed believing that story that fear told you. But when you're about to die and you feel connected to the cycles of mortality that we're all here to experience, it'll come crashing down within you. And going out like that might actually be the worst thing. You could have your legacy, you could have the things you built, the people around you, you could have all that to look at, but that resistance ends when you end. And I just don't want to go out like that. I don't want to go out like a bitch. So yeah. And really, death is funny. It feels like I've died and come back so many times. It just tells you once again, fear is preserving a story and not just your body. Obviously, you end up in the fields, in the jungle, running from a tiger. Listen to that fear. It knows better in that situation than our conscious mind does. But if you're listening to your conscious mind, if you're not letting fear overwhelm you in the first place, you're not going to end up in a situation like that. The body can die. Our physical form can die. We will never die. Where do we go when we sleep? It's like we die every day. We have dreams, yes. That feels real, but our conscious experience stops for knowing, like, the world just keeps going around. And that's because the powers that be have created systems that keep people in fear. The whole 9 to 5, go to college, do all this, the whole shebang. People are afraid that they won't have a structure they can live by. They won't be part of the tribe. They won't be part of the system. They'll feel left out. All of these things. I feel like if you're 23 minutes into this video and this found you, I won't need to explain that. But I'm not afraid to die. There's something there watching all of this unfold, watching me speaking this into a camera, watching my eyes look back at my eyes, watching my mouth move. And this is the same something that watched me shit myself at school when I was 4 years old, when I had a completely different conscious understanding of the world, completely different life experience. That same familiarities in the backdrop. And I meditate frequently, so I stay tapped in with that observer, let's say, if you're familiar with the Hindu background. This is, I don't know if you can see it that well, the Shiv Shakti tattoo. The balance between Shiv and Shakti, masculine and feminine. That's the Shiv. That's always there. And that won't go away when we die. When our conscious experience of life goes away. That won't go away. And yeah, I won't be having conversations like this, but I'm still gonna be there. It's not really even there. It just is. And then now, if I start talking about it anymore, I'm gonna sound crazy. Because if you know, you know. It's beyond words. And everybody knows, but if you know, you know. You know? Yeah. I'm not saying go do some crazy shit because, you know, like, live life in a way that brings you peace, that brings you joy, that brings you love, that makes you feel protected, that brings you abundance, and does the same for those around you. If you're doing it for yourself, it'll be the same for others. What's inside will always reflect outside, as above so below, as they say. It's 26 minutes, bro. I did not think I was gonna yap this long. I don't know if anybody's gonna watch this. I make music. Yeah. If anybody's here because I make music, I love you. Thank you for listening to my shit. If you didn't know I make music, I love you. Thank you for listening to my shit. This is kind of along the same line of things I tried to put in the music, except, you know, it comes more from the heart than, you know, the thinking mind. Even though the thinking mind is speaking from the heart. Same shit, different font. Sulame on all platforms. I'll be in the bio. I'm good right now. I wonder if YouTube will let me upload this like vertical. What we gonna see anyway. I love you, man. If you made it this far, I love you, bruh. I would have loved you regardless, but like, yeah, you're here. Hi. You're here. Hi, I love you, bro. You're beautiful. There's nobody like you, even if it feels like there's so many other yous. There's nobody like you. We're all the same, but there's also nobody like you. We all shit, piss, eat, live, sleep, love, fuck. We also do something and have something that nobody else does. And take it from me as someone who was really afraid to express themselves and then completely overcorrected and just started expressing himself any moment he got. I don't know if that's overcorrection. I think that might be the right way to do it, actually. That's what I'm living right now. There's nuance to it. Anyway, be you, man. There's nothing stopping you but your own fear. And guess what? When you face your own fear and you do it, the right people will see it and they'll come along with you. The wrong people won't see it, or they'll see it and they won't see what you see. And that's how you know they're the wrong people. But they're only wrong for you. They're not wrong. They're only wrong for you. Okay, I'm gonna stop yapping. I love you. Bye.